Now, this is a video that I wanted to make a while ago, but I wanted to give you guys some time to watch this film, and we're in January now, so if you had time, you had time. As you can tell, there's going to be spoilers with the title of this video and the thumbnail. So I want to talk about in today's video why, and I got theories too, I want to talk about why this is not the end of Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man. So let's get into a couple of the things that Andrew Garfield has said, mainly about playing Spider-Man again in No Way Home. First of all, he said he would love to return back and play Spider-Man as long as the story is right and it feels right. So that's where I think that there's a deal that's already being finalized, right? I think Andrew knows himself that he knows, and maybe even Tobey, but Andrew at least knows that they want to continue something with Andrew's Spider-Man, and that's really cool for me. Now, what do I think that they could continue? Let's get into Andrew's and then we'll do Tobey's after. What do I think is, I think the best way to continue Andrew's storyline, or how his story can be concluded or continued, is have him exist in the Sonyverse of all the anti-heroes. Definitely have him exist in the Morbius in the Venom universe. That's the perfect thing. And show him pop up during, like, Morbius. I think it'd be the best thing to have him show up and pop out, like tease, okay, this is the Spider-Man of that universe, so we get more clarification. I have a weird theory that that's why Morbius got delayed again. Maybe they're doing another reshoot just to shoehorn Andrew Garfield in there, which I would like personally. But we know with Morbius, it's really like, we see the Oscorp building for Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. We see Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man Murderer, which we'll get into that in a second. And also we do see Adrian Toomes, which is Tom Holland's Vulture. Now, let's get into the murderer thing that we see in the Morbius trailer. Now, it looks like it is definitely Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Hear me out here. So, we hear Andrew Garfield's Peter say to Tom Holland's Peter that he stopped pulling his punches after Gwen died. And so that basically would assume that he's murdered people. My theory is that that poster that we saw in Morbius is Murderer. They covered it up with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, and I actually feel like it's Andrew's Spider-Man that's on that poster. That's a weird theory, but it would make sense because he's considered a murderer in his universe, while also it would just make sense. You know what I mean, guys? Another thing I want to say is, how can we can also explore, after we've explored that dynamic of Andrew's Spidey killing people, he's more redeemed himself in No Way Home, saving MJ from the fall. So my interpretation is we can pick up right off where that left off at the ending of No Way Home, but Andrew's back in his own universe, and we see him being a better Spider-Man, but he's got to deal with the consequences of being a murderer. I think that'd be a really cool idea. Just saying, that could be for his own solo film, The Amazing Spider-Man 3. That's definitely going to happen. Hashtag make The Amazing Spider-Man 3. That's what I think. Now, also, I think if you're going to make The Amazing Spider-Man 3 and not utilize Andrew Garfield yet for like Venom 3, which I'll talk about in a sec, you could always have Spider-Gwen show up now. We know the Spider-Verse is real, and have Gwen return. I don't know what Emma Stone's availability looks like right now, but that'd be a cool touch just to redeem him. Or Andrew's Peter finally meets his MJ, and I think that'd be really cool as well. Now, I will say that I think that Andrew's Peter, I always like, Andrew Garfield is my favorite Spider-Man, hands down. As much as I love Tom now, and I've always loved Tobey, Andrew's my favorite. He's just the most relatable. But I will say that his story is not completed whatsoever, and I think a third film could definitely wrap up all this story. But I would love to see him. There's been a speculation confirmation that Venom 3 will be Venom exploring the multiverse and fighting Spider-Man. Now, we don't know what Spider-Man it's going to be, but I have a strong opinion that it's going to be Andrew's Spider-Man, as it should be. Now, do I want Andrew's Peter to get the symbiote? Not really. He doesn't really need to get it. He's already been that darker edge. The only Peter that I know of that hasn't been dark yet is Tom Holland's, and I think that's why he'll get the symbiote and we won't see Andrew's Spidey get the symbiote, which is totally fine. But I think it's going to be Andrew's Spidey that goes up against Tom Hardy's Venom. That's my definitely big theory. Let's get into Tobey Maguire. Now, Tobey Maguire said that he didn't want to release, once he came back for No Way Home, he wanted to keep his history, his Peter's history since Spider-Man 3, more of a mystery. Hint at it subtly, but not a lot at all. Like, oh, I fought Vulture or Mysterio or something. That's Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man saying that. So I think that leaves room open to either explore Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man with a fourth Spider-Man movie before No Way Home or after No Way Home. I personally would like to see it, of course, after. I feel like seeing him with Kirsten Dunst and them living together and seeing that world again with them two characters would be fucking awesome. And then see him go up like an older Spider-Man, kind of like Logan in a way with Hugh Jackman, but more of an older, grittier, I guess you would say grittier, but older Spider-Man in his last crusade, which would be Spider-Man 4. I still will say this, I think The Amazing Spider-Man 3 has a better chance of being made than Spider-Man 4, but I still think that Spider-Man 4 has a chance to being made, definitely. And if they want Sam Raimi to come back and have full creative control, why not? You know, but here's my final saying of what, there's a big rumor going around about Secret Wars and that they want Andrew and Tom to return and reprise their roles as Spider-Man. That's another big thing too. I never really thought of Spider-Man, or thought of Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man being in the MCU. I always thought a Sonyverse. But now there's rumors that Feige might want to take them two and put them into the MCU. If that's the last time we see them and we see Tom's Spidey go to the Sonyverse, I'd still be okay with that. But I don't think, as much as I think that the Secret Wars rumors might be true, I don't think they're 100%. And I think that the smarter decision from a business standpoint is to have Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man pop up in the Sonyverse more than the MCU. With Tobey Maguire, he's wrapped up for the most part, but I do think that we're going to see him again either in a live action Spider-Verse movie or if he gets greenlit his Spider-Man 4 movie. But guys, let me know your thoughts below. Do you think this is the end of seeing Tobey and Andrew? I don't think so whatsoever. But guys, like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribe for more, and I will see you guys real soon.